Dell knows what students do, day in and day out. Because we're right there with them throughout the entire school day. We know how students are using our devices to take their education further. And we also know the many other ways our devices get used, which is why they're built to be durable enough for kids, tough enough for teens, sturdy enough for students. They're truly designed for heavy-duty learning, meeting the unique demands of today's students and keeping up with how they experience the world around them. Built for how kids learn.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Garima Pang, Senior Assistant Editor, Elets Technomedia, and I extend a warm welcome to all our esteemed panelists and guests to an enlightening afternoon of deliberations on fostering academic innovations for nurturing future-ready talent. Being organized by Elets Technomedia and Digital Learning Magazine in association with Dell Technologies and Intel Corporation. The need to have this thought exchange stems from the fact that enabling an innovation-driven education ecosystem is the bedrock of fostering entrepreneurial mindset. The need to imbibe technology and upgrade the entire education landscape ground up has become a necessity to nurture future-ready talent. New age technology like artificial intelligence has the ability to alter the education landscape for providing students with the right skills and learning and become champions of change. I would now like to welcome our esteemed guests for the day. We have with us Dr. Saili Gankar, Vice Chancellor, D.Y. Patil University, Pune. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you.
We have with us Dr. Neeta Bali, Director and Head of School, G.D. Goenka World School, Gurgaon. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.
For inviting. Thank you.
We have Ms. Saloni Singhal, Program Manager, Intel Digital Readiness, Asia, Pacific, and Japan. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We have Ms. Satya K, Regional Sales Manager, Education and Healthcare, Dell Technologies. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Garima, and hi. Thanks to everyone. Hi.
We have Mr. Praveen Kumar, Field Marketing Leader, Client Solutions Group, Dell Technologies. Welcome, Mr. Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
And we also have Dr. K.C.K. Vijayakumar, Principal, Vivekananda College of Engineering for Women. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
So beginning the enriching afternoon, I would like to welcome Mr. Praveen Kumar, Field Marketing Leader, Client Solutions Group, Dell Technologies, to share his vision, views on the AI for Youth initiative and other initiatives. Over to you, sir. So could you unmute yourself? Mr. Praveen Kumar, could you unmute yourself, please?
Thank you so much for reminding me on that. My bad. Okay, here you go. I'm sure now the audio is clear.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this. A great panel, eminent panel, and it's a great privilege for us to present to you a unique program from the stables of Dell Technologies and Intel Corporation. This program is one among the first where we have collaborated to bring together the future readiness for the education system. Now, this program is titled AI for Youth, where we try to empower students at a very nascent stage to get the AI foundational skills and the fundamental skills, change the way they have understood the AI world, equip them with the right capabilities, at the same time, put them on a path where they could go pursue a lot of learnings and make a difference to this world, right? In that note, this program is already endorsed by the Central Board of Secondary Education. It has got rave reviews from many foreign governments, including the government of Singapore, and a lot of educational boards have endorsed them that this gives the catalyst for the next level of innovation, especially to students who are actually in core of it. Right now, the program itself is in 170 hours of comprehensive learning. It gives everything in hands-on training, also classroom, services, online learnings, collaboration together, community, and collaborative learning, undergoing projects, training. Everything is there. It primarily covers three AI domains, which is computer vision, NLP, and statistical data. But in a broader term, what we believe is a fundamental and a step by step learning itself. So, at the beginning of this program, the students understand the inspiration of AI. They should be motivated by why AI, excited about it, learn the whole world of AI concepts, relate to them, and see the art of possibilities, how they can solve the world's problem or imminent dangers, threats which are happening in day-to-day situation, practical challenges which everybody undergoes, how to equip them with the right thought process. Beyond that, it's acquiring stage where you learn fundamental skill sets, neural networks, Python program. The students don't have to be for expert in coding. In fact, they don't need a coding experience at all. These programs are actually endorsed right from class 8 to 12, and even to higher education has been adopted very much today. Then you move on to advanced level of stages within the program itself, where you do have experiential learning on advanced technologies, and then you finally are empowered creating a project of your own, working with teams, leading a team, how to make a conviction to your maybe funding and sponsors and everybody. At the same time, also realizing what could be the potential pitfalls in an AI ecosystem. Now, this program is not just about technical skill set, but it also empowers the learners with social skill set as well. You can see that the program also teaches about leadership skills, organization skills, team building, collaborating together, the art of persuasion when you're presenting a solution to an audience, effective documentation, communication, and so on and so forth. Right? So it's a holistic program which empowers the student on their journey to understand the AI world. Now, what are the key steps for the entire program implementation if your institute is willing to do that? The program is about 170 hours. The 170 hours can be delivered in multiple phases depending on how your institute wants to deliver it. You don't have to have a fixed methodology, and one size does not fit all, right? So, in your discussions with Dell and Intel, we can arrive at a custom deliverable solution for your institution. We will be building capabilities among your teachers and your educators slash trainers. So we are not going to deliver the content straight, but we will be enabling your representatives in your institutes. And they in turn will go and deliver the program throughout the year and for years to come in the future. Now, these students, once they are trained or during the training itself, they have capabilities to participate in worldwide contests, AI marathons, virtual showcases. They can be part of various programs which are happening live in the online world as well. We help from Dell Technologies to help create an infrastructure that would support the program. This entire AI ecosystem in your campus, what are the right devices, what are the right tool sets? We handhold you in your journey by establishing an infrastructure. That expertise comes from Dell Technologies and Intel both. Now, once we set up this AI skills lab and once we onboard your students into the program, the campus will be certified as an AI for Youth certified or an AI Digital Skills Lab certification. You can proudly display this as an accreditation, as a credential for your institutes. You may leverage this for your public relations campaigns. You may leverage this as one of the key achievement of your institution as well. This is a journey of this program, and we will be able to handhold you in the whole thing. This program has thrown open a lot of gates for practical solutions. We have boys and girls from a lot of educational institutes who have already developed solutions using these programs, which are practical solutions for real life challenges. You can see there are walking stick equipped with camera to aid blind people in day to day using computer vision. There is NLP driven solution enabled assistance for autistic patients. The applications into real world is infinite. There is no boundaries for where this could find an application is. The entire program utilizes the right tool set. It has devices, tool set, everything which is capable to deliver the program more effectively. At Dell Stable, we also offer you a lot of variety of devices. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged mainstream. You can start with an entry level. You can have intermediate levels. You can also have advanced level of use case, depending on how you want to deliver the same thing. So in this case, we are going to take, a quick pause and recap this whole program here. As you can see, the program itself is 170 hours, right from inspiration, acquisition, experiencing, and empowerment. Now, this is a journey. As this journey starts with the AI for Youth program, we will also be extending in future for more advanced level of certifications and programs. By the way, did I tell you that there is a certification, or credentials provided to everybody? Your infrastructure gets an accreditation for as an AI skills lab. Your teachers get a trainer certificate from Intel, and your students also get certificate of achievement or participation when they complete this program as well. Now, this is where, beyond the standard labs, Dell and Intel are coming together to establish your institution and put you into the right path into the future, which is an AI-driven, digital-driven world. On this note, I'm most pleased to welcome. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. Yes. Thank you. I'm most pleased to welcome one of our beneficiaries of this program. All right. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I think I'm facing some hearing issues. Just give me 1 second. I'm not able to hear you guys in return. Okay. All right. So I think I'm here. So thank you so much for this. There was a little technical lag, but nevertheless, I'm pleased to invite one of our beneficiaries, Vivekananda College of Engineering for Women, who in South India have adopted this program, have already implemented this. And my privilege, and I'm very humbled to invite Dr. KCK Vijaykumar, who's the principal of this esteemed institution. Thank you so much for being on this call today, sir, and sharing your experience. Now, to start with, you heard about this program not for the first time, right? We've already discussed this many times before. But
Yeah.
what is the trigger point for you? What motivated you to understand that this program actually makes sense, or maybe is relevant for your institutions? How did you get convinced in the first place? What triggered that motivation?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Praveen Kumar, for giving us such an opportunity to share my views about this particular program. Everyone aware that and experience that this industry 4.0 is revolutionary for not only education industry, for the entire future. It touches every human in terms of day-to-day affairs and whatnot. It almost covers everything. So AI become the foremost importance, particularly for engineering discipline. We understood that. Then we searched with the various options we came finally AI as a different that is domains like data science, natural language processing, and computer vision, etc., etc. So we want to make this particular program to our student, particularly our institution, Vivekananda College of Engineering for Women, is situated in western part of Tamil Nadu, exclusive for women, offering various programs like electrical, electronics, computer, IT, biomedical, biotech courses. So we want to give such an edge over with the other candidate who all are pursuing the graduation. So we approached this particular thing, that is, we want to make this AI as a part of our curriculum so that we can give some glimpse of inputs about AI, machine learning, data science, and IoT, and data analytics, etc., etc., which is inevitably required for the transformation of the education system so that we can face the new education policy of NEP 2020. So that is uh, these all are the some of the inputs which encourage us to go for AI, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. On that note, several institutions today, especially engineering and technical institutes, I have personally got requests even from fashion designing institutes who actually want to set up AI ecosystem in their campus. First and foremost, the lot they worry about is the cost involved and what is the technical skill sets involved and so on and so forth. While I actually wanted to bring a point stating that the whole program is not chargeable, right? I mean, we give the program delivery, the training to educators, and the trainers actually going and educating the students. Everything is free of cost. Only the investment is on the infrastructure. But as an institute which is aspiring to get into that journey, what are the practical challenges you think you faced before? And once you started engaging with this program, what do you think has been solved easy for you?
Yeah, you are rightly touched the point that whenever when we introduce a new concept or new things to the student, the basic thing is first thing is infrastructure and the adequate training to utilize the infrastructure, and the third is whatever the content which is supposed to be delivered to the next generation. So we had initial issues like we'll have a older system only, like i3, i5 systems. So you want to procure a new system, then only we can load, work with the Hadoop and Anaconda tools and all that. So we have approached Dell. Then they came with such a beautiful program like the AI for Youth program. When we tie up with Dell systems, so we have purchased workstations with Dell, and that is the way we came to know that such a wonderful program being offered by Dell Workstations with AI for Youth program. So this is about a 45 hours program, or totally, as you presented, 170 hours of training. So what we have presently adopted to our student in our curriculum is AI for the youth data science 30 hours, and AI for the youth on natural NLP 30 hours, and AI for the youth for computer vision 30 hours. Like that, now we are handling such issues with the help of Dell. So thanks to Dell for offering such a handhold us to offer this AI youth for all students through the latest software and as well as hardware.
Yeah, Dell Technologies is a partner in this journey.
Yes.
The brainchild of the whole program is, of course, Intel Corporation, and we do the hand holding in between, setting up your infrastructure, getting you to understand how we can mutually benefit together. That note, actually, there is a great point in what you said. It's not a standalone learning. I think this entire program can be beautifully integrated within your existing curriculum. And if you are, especially a deemed institutes or an autonomous institute, you can make it even more broader by adding them as part of your elective or courses. We have seen certain institutes who have offered AI programs as an elective, but then end up actually outsourcing it to a learning partner elsewhere. While you now using this program, you can build the capability within your trainers, within your campus itself, and it could be a genuine delivery of AI learnings to your students directly from your institute. We are happy to actually empower you with, to getting to do that. Now, we've seen a lot of excitement, Dr. Vijay Kumar, when your trainers came into the classroom. How do you think they feel about this? Do they feel empowered by this new learning they have received? I think that is making some changes as well, because you started establishing and already running it. If I'm not wrong, you've already started running it there.
We are running. Yeah.
All right. So, what's the general feedback among your trainers and your faculty system? How do they feel empowered by this?
Yeah, yes, it is really a good feedback which we have received from all the stakeholders like faculty and student particularly about the training offered in terms of the infrastructure facility, software, uh, the uh, the courses being offered, and particularly the materials. I want to say any new training that we are offering to the student in terms of system, of course, it is a latest system, we bought it. And the second thing is the training. As you rightly said, this is not a training just giving a technical skills alone. It is combination of technical and social skills also being imbibed in this AI for the Youth program. So people are enjoying and doing this particular program, and particularly the compartment like Inspire, Acquire, Experience, and Empower is truly exciting our student, even our faculty too. And I'm sure it is a holistic learning for the people who are learning this AI course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great to hear, Dr. Vijay Kumar. In fact, I think this is just the beginning of our journey together. And, you among one of the first institutes in South India to adapt to this program could lead the way for the rest of the others as well.
Yes.
Um, we are ready to help with more, both Dell and Intel together. Uh, and a final question to you is, how do you envision the future now? What all other plans does Vivekananda Institute has starting making this as a maybe a beginning or a starting point?
Yeah, well, as is quoted, we are the number one in terms of offering this particular program joined with you and as well as Dell, as well as this particular part of the country is concerned. Of course, we are damn sure that the future of all industry is not with the intelligence. It is damn sure it is artificial intelligence only. Whatever the business they are doing, it is AI is unseparable, and we want to make some differentiation with the other institutions, whatever they do, and we don't want to have any backlog when compared with the Western institutions are not part of our India is concerned. So that is the intention. We are collaborating with you and Dell, and hopefully, definitely, we will sustain this relationship for a future endeavor too.
Yeah. Well, in Dell Technologies and Intel, we have more lined up. This is just the beginning. In Dell Education Services, we have a lot of career-oriented courses to make the current, students ready for the futuristic world. And within the same AI for Youth program, enhancements are towards AI for future workforce. And we are also talking about AI for current workforce to upskill today's employees into the world of AI as well. There's a lot lined up. Dr. Vijay Kumar, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. We are proud to have you on this platform. We are proud to have you on this journey together. Thank you once again. Over to you,
Yeah.
Garimapan.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Dr. K.C.K. Vijayakumar and Mr. Praveen Kumar, for giving us a
Thank you.
quick peek and also user experience about this unique initiative. I'm sure our audience here got a deep insight into what AI has to offer for them in the coming future. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also request our audience to take part in the interesting polls on the homepage of the platform and also share questions for our guests for some and be eligible for some exciting giveaways towards the end of the session. We now move ahead to a round of discussions on the core theme, which is fostering academic innovations for nurturing future-ready talent. And joining us for discussion, we have Dr. Saili Gankar, Vice Chancellor, DY Patil University, Pune. Welcome again, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dr. Neeta Bali, Director and Head of School, GT Goenka World School, Gurgaon. Welcome again, ma'am. We have Ms. Saloni Singhal, Program Manager, Intel Digital Readiness, Asia Pacific and Japan. Welcome, ma'am. And Ms. Satya K, Regional Sales Manager, Education and Healthcare, Dell Technologies. So I welcome everyone to this all-women panel that we have right now. So we'll dive straight away into the discussion here, and I'll begin with Dr. Saili. Dr. Saili, so we've heard and we've discussed that curriculum driven by innovations forms the bedrock for creating a future-ready talent. So your thoughts and initiatives being undertaken by your institution in embedding innovation in your curriculum.
Yeah, I think very well presented by Mr. Pradeep. He has given a wonderful, Praveen Kumar, who has given us a wonderful idea about how the things are changing. And especially, he connected very well with the industry 4.0, especially with artificial intelligence, one of the area which has been expected by educational institutions or campuses to ensure that tomorrow's youth is updated with the skills which are required. And in this direction, if you look at it, National Education Policy, AICTE, they also have taken great amount of effort to offer, or we can say that they have also suggested us, advised us to enter in this particular field. The reason is the if we know it very well today, the world is changing, and especially there are so much hope from the Indian continent, right? That how these Indian institutions can develop the students and the future the employees for these industries. And in this direction, of course, DY Patil University is a very old group, having more than 7 universities under its fold. So if you look at it, in every campuses, we started offering our programs which are more futuristic in their nature, in terms of content, in terms of syllabuses, and of course the delivery and pedagogy. While doing so, we are taking help of various the edtech companies which are helping us, especially the programs which are designed by industry professionals. The reason is we know it very well that the when we talk about invention or innovation to be happened in the companies or industries, you need to have understanding that what they are really looking for are students and what kind of the content of the programs to be delivered. So in this direction, we have already initiated the process with Dell Technologies, and we are developing the labs at campus now. The team is working, especially from Pune. They are helping us to, because we have announced decision science and AI, and of course, computer sciences and IT is one of the area which is right now. If you look at in the market, that everyone, the one who would like to take admission to the BTech program, they would like to go for computer sciences and information technology. It's really it's really we can say that surprising, and at the same time it's really we can say the core branches are now required to be looked at it. And in this direction, I think the every campuses is taking effort. Can you just give me a
Sure, ma'am, sure. Okay, so while we have Dr. Saili joining us, okay, yeah, there she is.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
yes,
It was ringing on my table.
not a problem.
I think the core branches are also started taking up this particular change, which has been introduced by the companies and these industry professionals. When we talk about mechatronics, when we talk about robotics, right? So in addition to the computer sciences and artificial intelligence, how those are creating impact on these branches are required to be informed to the students. I'm so happy that Dr. Bali is here, and I'm sure they're also changing the mindset of the youth and then young kids. That these are also, see what has happened. We always talked about all toppers all the time, and high packages which are coming from computer industries and IT companies, right? But then at the same time, the core branches are also doing extremely well. So we need to really have a collaboration, and that is what is exactly expected by national education policy, that how student can have a multidimensional or interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary education which can help them to develop their own employability skills. So in this regard, of course, DY Patil University has taken steps in terms of changing the program structures of the infrastructure, because last 2 years we were working only on online platforms, but today if you look at it, everyone would like to come back to the campuses. Students are already there in campus, and now they would like to play with that. So now it's not only the labs, even students are ready to invest in the laptops and the machines, so all these kind of the kind of changes which are occurring, and realization of technology as one of the key factor for making the future professional. I think universities and campuses and industries, they all have to come together. I'm so happy that the Dell Technology, and especially in both Intel, we are taking their help to set up the infrastructure at the campus, and we are also involving them in developing our own the curriculums and program structures. So thank you so very much. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Saili. Thank you. You really, set up the context here where you gave us insights into how technology is, proving to be an enabler in setting up the infrastructure that is needed for today and tomorrow. I'd like to come to you, Dr. Neeta Bali, and understand it slightly, uh, related but a little different facet, that in the 21st century, skill-based education for children from an early age has become the need of the hour. Now, how is your institution encouraging skill development in school education to build a strong foundation for a thriving future?
Thank you, Garima. I reiterate the sentiment that Dr. Saili has, in fact, expressed. I think technology and AI and skill-based education is a norm of the day. Let me tell you that gone are those days when schools expected students to learn up content and regurgitate the content in the examination. As somebody who represents an international school where we transact the international curriculum, the Cambridge and the IB, for that matter, even the schools that are running the national curriculum also, I think are now moving up very, very fast and focusing more on skill-based education. For us as a school, our aim and endeavor has always been to promote and showcase skills, because we treat the textbook and content as only a means to an end. When I say a means to an end, what I'm really trying to say is that through the content or through the books, or through what the facilitator is teaching in the classroom, we are forever trying to work on what we call ATLs. I'm not talking about adult tinkering labs, I'm talking about approaches to learning. When I say approaches to learning, what I'm trying to say is effective skills of communication, which I think are so significant from a very young age. Children are encouraged to express themselves, articulate what they feel, speak about what they're learning. Learner is the center of the classroom, and we call our teachers mere facilitators, because our focus is not so much on teaching, our focus is more on learning. So, strong communication skills. Most learners, in fact, right from grade nursery to grade 12, we believe in a very strong student agency. We feel that students must have a voice. They must have a sense of ownership for their own learning. So when I say sense of ownership for their own learning, definitely they're expected to not merely articulate what they're learning, what they've learned, they're supposed to reflect on their learning. And when they reflect on their learning, reflection sheets are a done deal in a system like ours. So children reflect on their learning and they articulate. We have something, let me give you an example, a small instance of how we do it at a very, very basic level. You have something called a student-led conference, or what we call an SLC. Now, a student-led conference is, a convergence of parent, teachers, and students, where students exhibit their portfolios and speak about their learning. So, strong communication skills. All right. Second, I think what we encourage, another very significant skill is the ability to be able to collaborate with others. For us, education is never complete till children learn to collaborate with their peers and with their teachers. So, teacher becomes a part of the learning process where children collaborate with one another, with their peers, with their teachers to take their own learning forward. So, second, skills of collaboration, which I think are skills which are so necessary in work life. So, from a very basic level, whether it is a group work, whether it is a seating in a classroom, it could be put in such a manner. It could be horseshoe seating, it could be cluster seating, it could be group seating. It's always very dynamic. So, second, as I said, skills of collaboration. Most significant are skills of exploring and researching for information, ferreting out the right information. From a very young age, in fact, we were one of the first schools in India to have set up a virtual reality lab. So, skills of exploring and researching and looking for information, finding the right information, ferreting out the right information with very young children under parental supervision or under a teacher's supervision as they grow older. Definitely, they become that much more independent. And for us, researching skills come very naturally to children. Older children write their own dissertations in IB. They write a 4,000 word dissertation to be eligible to get an IB diploma. Diploma is the school living qualification, which is very, very rigorous compared to all other curricula. So, researching skills. The whole idea is to nurture curiosity amongst students so that there is this natural curiosity in students. And I think as educators, it is necessary that we nurture this curiosity and let it kind of kindle it into a fire so that children are looking for information. Another very important skill that we nurture is the skill of critical thinking, questioning, analyzing, the ability to make connections, because learning can never be in isolated silos. Learning is something where students should be able to make connections. So for us, most of our learning is transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary. You do not have standalone subjects. For example, you're not going to be at a very young level in the primary years program. You will not have children learning math as a standalone subject, or English as a standalone subject, or Hindi as a standalone subject. They're all linked. It's all transdisciplinary. As they grow older, interdisciplinary, and then again transdisciplinary. You have subjects like theory of knowledge, which force you to think, and it is integrated into different subjects. So I think apart from all this, another significant skill that we try to build into our education is the skills, interpersonal skills and social skills. And that is done very effectively through socio-emotional learning in a classroom, where children and problem solving skills. Another one is problem solving skills. Off late, I'm beginning to believe more than anything else. Earlier we would talk about the IQ, and then we started talking about the EQ, right? Everybody spoke about the emotional quotients. But I really think that now is the time to talk about the resilience quotient, because
Absolutely.
I think everybody has gone through such a tough time, during pandemic. So teaching students, young people from a very young age, the art of being able to confront uncertainty with a degree of resilience and courage. I think these are the skills that really need to be nurtured through education. So for us, I am repeating, for us, books, content are only a means to an end. And you'll be surprised to know that in PYP, in grades nursery to 5, we do not prescribe any textbooks. Teachers create their own resources. And because we feel that parents are very important stakeholders, we also allow parents to be part of creating these resources. And so do the children also contribute in some measure. So from grades nursery to 5, there are not textbooks per se. There are teachers' resource books, but teachers are supposed to create these resources collaboratively with parents, with great parent engagement. And I suppose that's where real learning helps, because, as I said, children need to learn to take responsibility for their own learning. So I think that's where the whole story starts. So when I
Yes.
look at this entire thing in totality, and this trust carries through, this is something that percolates right from the bottom, and in fact, right upwards, if I may say so, through the middle school, through the secondary school, through grades 11 and 12. So the whole idea is that it all revolves around skills, and we have very clearly defined learner attributes. 10 very clearly defined learner attributes: a thinker, a communicator, a risk taker, and principled, and so on and so forth. So every time you do something, you ask yourself, have I been a risk taker today? What is the skill I've learned when I've been a risk taker? Have I been principal today? What is it that I have learned? What is a skill I've learned
Right.
when I have, I've proven myself principled? So for us, self-management skills, and as they grow older, time management skills, because studies get tougher and tougher. Time management skills, those are again very significant. To be able to do 6 subjects with different permutations and combinations, to write a dissertation of 4,000 words, write another essay of 1,500 words, which you cannot have plagiarism in that. So things like plagiarism, terms like plagiarism, academic honesty, citations are a done deal, when our children study. And I'm so happy to say that we are talking about technology is so deeply interwoven into our system. We have a policy of BYOD, bring your own device, from grade 9 upwards. So majority of our children bring their own devices because a lot of learning happens through the devices. We don't encourage children to carry bulky books to school. So they rely primarily on e-learning devices. They
Right.
rely
Right.
on the laptops or tabs and
Right.
so on and so forth.
Right,
So
right, right. Dr. Bali, thank you. I'm sorry. I'll have to, interrupt you a bit here. We'll have to, in the interest of time, I'll have to come back to you again with my second question. But I'd now like to move to Miss Satya K, Vertical Leader Education and Healthcare Segment and Technologies. Miss Satya, if you could, Dr. Bali has given us a very, deep insight into the evolved education ecosystem and the, evolving skill landscape that the students are going through. Now, could you take us through, your various initiatives that foster innovation and the education system in using disruptive technology to solve real-world issues?
Yep. Thanks, Karima. Yep. We had two eminent speakers before me, and we handpicked and chose two speakers. One from higher education, Dr. Saili, and from the world of international schools, we have Dr. Anita here. So, point is, so we have two different types of panel members here with different types of student forums that they have, and what they offer to the students are very different from their nature of the education that they are participating today. From a OEM or a technology specialist and a leader, Dell has a lot of initiatives around education sector. In my recent meeting in another forum, the first and foremost, or I would say after NEP, the most spoken point was regarding skills, and we heard a lot from Dr. Nita on what does she think about skills and what are the different skills that they are trying to develop. It was very nice to hear that, and I know what DY Patil Group is doing because my team and we are personally engaged with them, so we know a lot of initiatives they are doing. From as I said, the IT leader perspective, we see that the times have changed. The education has moved into blended learning. There are a lot of options given to the students. AR VR has become part of their curriculum, both in the higher education as well as in the schools. We also see that innovation has become a norm because the students who have spent the 18 months or 2 years in their homes have started learning a lot of things beyond the curriculum, and they have expressed their interest to learn a lot more technologies, and that has shown that they are more into things beyond the book based knowledge. And that's where Dell, along with the association with Intel, we came up with a program, and I think we had a great session by Praveen where he walked us through, and then Mr. Vijay Kumar gave us his experience of having deployed the AI for Youth program. So we see that this program develops innovation, be it school students or be it higher education students. It can be part of the curriculum. It could be used by both the education sector for developing innovation among their students. uh, we have also done programs like Dell Education Technology, Dell Technology Education Services, where we give courses beyond just A for youth intel program. We also give other programs which are more related to where students want to learn cloud solutions, or if they want to do networking, or if they want to learn Microsoft or SQL solutions, or they want to take a cybersecurity course. We have those as well, which is very very professional in their mode of the way we deliver to the students. And some of our clients also have expressed, and we see that they have moved on to assessment, completely paperless assessment. They are interested today. No more the colleges want to save a lot of money, or the schools want to save like ma'am said, they have BYOD deployed in their schools. How do we leverage on top of it when it is all digital? I would also like to be more digital along with them, rather than taking them back. So that way we see that the education sector as such has gone through in the last 3 years or 2.5 years, and they are not going back. In every other sector, when we discuss, maybe they are talking about going back to pre-COVID situations, but in education sector we see that they are only thinking ahead, and they are thinking, if this is the scope here, then can we get anywhere better than this? So our technology innovations are also in line with that are workstations, be it which is supporting VR or AR, where the clients want to build more techno savvy curriculum, then we have products which are supporting them. And also we are coming up with courses like this, for youth, whereby the skill gaps are being met, and we are trying to help the students be more industry relevant. And that's part of our core agenda. That means we are no more just selling products, we are no more just enabling them with technology, but we are enabling them to go beyond just the schools and colleges and become more industry relevant. And the students in the schools, when they get into this innovation, they do even patented solutions, and then their thinking skills, their whatever ma'am said, I could so much connect to it. The problem solving skills, their curiosity is fed by this program. And that's exactly what we are doing today, beyond just giving just the technology products.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Satya. I think you very rightly said the education sector is, moving ahead and not probably, looking back at what's already happened and, preparing for the future. Ms. Saloni, I'd like to come to you here and understand from you, like, we've heard like how new age technologies are playing a major role in multiple arenas. In terms of, how do you see these emerging technologies laying the roadmap to strengthen the technology infrastructure in the education institutions? Because we know infrastructure is core to, to have a successful technology implementation.
Thanks, Karima. And, with so many eminent people talking about so many different aspects, I think it's made my work a little easier. So yes, emerging technologies are here to stay. And as I think Satya just mentioned, in education, it's going ahead, which is a great thing. Because if we want our next generation, if we want our students to be ready to face the entire world, which is largely governed by the emerging technologies, you can talk about AI, you can talk about blockchain, etc. So if you want to make sure that they are standing tall and then they are making our country proud, we have to make sure that they are, fully equipped with the latest. They are fully, prepared to take it on. So that I'm sure we've already established the need that it is there, it is accepted, it has to be taken into consideration, and we cannot go back on it, at least not now. So, what you're asking is that we've understood the needs. What we need to do now is we need to make sure that, yes, infrastructure is important, but along with it, we also want to make sure that, they have the right skill set. We've been just talking about the different skill set which are required. So as part of our Intel Digital Readiness Program, we focus on three main things. We start with the mindset. And I think Dr. Saili, when she was talking, she talked about the openness, which is there, the need to ensure that, all of us understand the Industry 4.0 and we are ready to, make and do whatever is required to make sure that it becomes a reality. So the openness, the mindset. I also see a question here on the chat section, that, is there any resistance from the faculty side while enrolling for these kind of faculty training, which is for AI? So connecting back to it, it's about the openness. It's about having the right mindset, first of all, in the educational institutions, in the, the head of the organizations. And then, of course, that trickles down to the faculty, because that's the first thing. So it's the mindset at the end of the education institutions, mindset for our faculty, mindset for the most important people, which is our educators. It all starts from there. So it's about the mindset. And the next is, of course, the skill set that we talk about. Technology is here to stay. We have to make sure it happens. So how do we make sure that our students understand the, first of all, the importance? And I'm happy to share that most of them do. The kind of interesting questions that we get from the students when we do this kind of workshop for them is, believe me, half of it I also can't understand. They're far, far ahead of it. I'm sure, the people who are working with schools would agree with me. The kind of ideas the students come up with, the kind of questions they come up with it, it's way, way beyond, which is a good thing, because that's the only way we can take them even ahead. So the skill set has to be imbibed in them, and for that we need content, we need curriculum, and we need it to be integrated into our existing curriculum, because we cannot start from scratch for everyone. So, I mean, India happens to be one of the first countries which has included artificial intelligence as a subject. Just like a student can study science, English, maths, if you're in a CBSE school and if your school has affiliated, you can actually do that. And the same goes for the colleges as well. So, one of the first countries where we realize it is important and it is available for students to go and, opt for it as a subject. So starting from there, so you have relevant content. You have to create a framework within your academic institutions if you want this to grow. So we've started the work. We still have a lot more ground to cover, but the good part is that we've initiated it. So that's where we talk about the relevant content, the trainings, the hands-on training, the DIY. That is something which each and every institute, each and every school, each and every college will have to include in their timetables, in their activities that they do. Whether you want to go a boot camp mode, you want to go a, let's say, a summer session kind of a thing, it has to be included. It has to be hands-on. That's a skill set that we need to do. And to ensure that the mindset and the skill set is getting nurtured the right way, is getting all the support in the right way, we come to the infrastructure, which we refer to as the right and the relevant and the necessary tool set. So if we want our students to understand emerging technologies, if we want them to start working with it, start creating with it, start using their brilliant ideas and giving them, a working prototype kind of a shape, something which actually solves a problem and not just as something which kind of stays back in our book or stays back in our device. We need to make sure that they have the right tool set, and that's where we come to the infrastructure. Because when you're working with emerging technologies, uh, the kind of infrastructure that you require, the kind of devices that you may require, the kind of support that you may require is something which is very, very relevant. Otherwise, this would not be successful. So what you're asking is the most relevant question. We start with a mindset, make sure that we have the right skill set, the right content support, the right curriculum support, the right educator support. But all of it also requires very, very vehemently the tool set, which is the infrastructure. So I'll stop there and give it back to you.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. And just for the information of the panelists, we have over 250 attendees, listening to us as we talk about, the future of education and the future of technology. Dr. Saili, I'll come to you again. And you talked about innovations when we spoke first. For creating future ready talent. If I can ask you, if you could journey us through the various newish technologies that you have inculcated at your university to lead to these technological transformations.
Yeah, I think the kind of activities, as I've said, that uh, the virtual reality, the setup at medical campus at Nerul has been done in India first time, actually in South Asia, wherein we said that the MBBS education or medical education is required to give them a different experience. So AI and VR has been used over there. So the medical lab has been set up there. We know it very well that the today's youth mindset. Why are we doing this? I think we are talking about that the world is changing, technological changes are happening in terms of invention, innovation, right? And of course the diffusion. So while doing this, I think we need to create the center of excellences in terms of labs in campuses, and then the programs what we are offering here. So now, when we talk about this, how do we do that? Everyone has said it very. Uh, everyone is echoing the same thoughts, right? That we need to accept that these changes are important and we have to incorporate it. I remember that in MBA education, PeopleSoft was the first company which was giving HR support, and that time everyone was so much confused about it that how should we give it. Today, if you look at it, all the courses like HR analytics, decision sciences, data sciences, big data analysis, artificial intelligence, all have become the part of every profession, right? It's not only engineering per se. So if you look at it today, also when we talk about developing a website for any organization and universities, we immediately bring those technological implications to give comfort to the reason is customer is demanding that customer expect you to give those the services online. So it's like how can you do that, right? So youth, and if we look at it, the maximum chunk is youth in India, and that talent is required to be nurtured in terms of usage, in terms of course, skilling. Rather than skill, of course we use the word skilling, but we need professionals, right? So because when we talk about skilling, people feel like it's a vocational education or something like that. No, I think we're talking about very hardcore skills. Technological skills are very important now. I always they refer whenever I talk about any these topics, especially which creates an impact on our economy, and that's what I was trying to make a point that China is no longer a big the production country, right? Now they are trying to figure out that how we can have the substitute available, and then it's not only Malaysia or other countries, but then India will be one of the area from where we can send maximum youth in terms of generation Z, which we always talk about. So their appetite, their expectations, what Dr. Bali is talking about, if at the school level, if I'm teaching them collaboration, innovation, invention, when they come to my campuses, I think I need to give them a different inputs altogether, right, which can really help them to excel in their own. And these tracks are required to be created by the universities, by the ecosystem. So ecosystem is not only the education and faculty members, but I think now the industry and academia, though we say that there is a gap, still we know it very well that without it, it's a two side of the one coin. So we have to be together all the time, and these kind of efforts are more required. So when I talk about that, yes, if we would like to really surpass the China and create the kind of efforts which government is taking under the prime ministership, the prime minister Modi sir. So if you look at it, the Atmanirbhar Bharat SME, then you have the Ministry of Education which is coming up, then we are merging all those regulatory bodies. So why we are doing this, right? We are trying not, we never thought that only one particular capital will be the India's capital for the economy. I think we need more capitals now in terms of technology, in terms of economy, in terms of education. So every state can they really become a contributor, and for that I think we need to change the mindset with the help of all these kind of changes which are being ensured by Dell or Intel, the kind of support. Because I'm investing huge amount of money, we are changing it. Our labs, we said that no, we don't want now i5 the computer machines. We would like to have go for i7, and we would like to have graphic the as a graphic card which has to be there in the machine, right? The reason is the need is the need is there, and we need to change it, and that's what we are doing it. Of course, what the Mr. Praveen has shared, that yes, we would like to set up the DS and AI lab, and for every skill, for every domain, you will find that we need to cater those needs, because every domain has a specific requirement and specific outcome they are expecting from each and every professional, from who is going to be developed from our campuses. So I think we cannot, and then technology is changing at speed, so we also need to gear up that speed. We cannot say that i3 machine will be there in the campus, or VR can be only in a particular area. I think everyone would like to 3D print. That's why Industry 4.0, when we talk about it, I think it's a very interesting gamut of life, and wherein everyone has to come forward: trainers, teachers, faculty, students, non-teaching staff, gone are the functions like non-teaching or administrative positions. I think everyone has to come towards this technological changes and challenges which are posing to us. The reason is, of course, we need to have invention and innovation. And if we don't do it, I think we will be lagging, because the economy always expect you to give the solutions and make the wonderful, we can say, the good turnover, right? So every
Right.
problem has to be, you need to give them the solutions, and that is only possible with the help of technology. So yes,
Right.
this particular, the part is very important, which we need to work on, and we have to change the mindset of the student also. Yeah, I was talking to one of very old colleague of the vice chancellor, very seasoned vice chancellor. He said that we are not investing in labs. We are asking students to bring their laptops. Yeah, right. So we have asked them that why don't you bring the laptops and use it in our classes, right? And we'll give them the open source, or we will buy those licenses and we'll give them on their machines. Let them work at home wherever they are, right? So I think this is again a very that's what I said, that we have to think about the out of box and coming out of a solution which can be, because everyone require a different solution, and I think that is what we need to really work on. And I'm
Yes.
sure that we all can do it very wonderfully. Only the thing is, we need to be updated all the time, and we need to understand what changes are happening. And I'm sure that the companies like Dell and Intel and these platforms will help us to look at ourselves, the introspection in terms of infrastructure and the competencies which are required to deliver the next stage, the education. So thank you so very
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dr. Neeta Bali, Dr. Dr. Saili briefly mentioned about the word challenges, and I want to understand from you, the key challenges in realizing the complete potential of tech-driven innovations in the education ecosystem, and how do you foresee the future of learning and teaching with academic innovations?
Thank you, Garima. I think that's a very relevant point that you have raised. The first and foremost challenge as a school educator, because I represent the school segment, I think, although we all understand that technology is here and technology is here to stay, but the real, I would say, the real springboard for bringing technology into schools was the pandemic, because it was a situation where it was a situation where it was inevitable that you had to find a way forward to use technology to ensure that teaching learning happens. So first, of course, we always had resistance to technology, particularly from those who belong to the slightly older age bracket or who'd been teaching for many years. So there was always a slight resistance to technology. But believe you me, I think overnight people adapted to technology and began to use perforce. And in a matter of few days, I would say majority of them had made themselves almost adept at using technology. So first challenge, of course, is, when you want to try out something extensively, I wouldn't say something new, but something extensively and all pervasive, there will be resistance from some who have probably not experienced it before. So that is the first challenge. And I think we have, fortunately, as an international school, because teachers also are using technology, yet there were some who were probably not so fond of technology. But everyone rose to the occasion. So that is the first challenge. I wouldn't call it a great challenge because I think we were able to overcome it very effectively. Second, all said and done, I think, a lot of parents also are a little apprehensive about how much technology to use, how much is too much, you know, that is very important. How much is too much? So if your child is going to spend 3 to 4 hours, a young child for 2 hours in front of a laptop, it can strain your eyes, it can affect your health, it can affect your posture. Not merely that, they felt that there'd be too much exposure. Uh, in any case, I would say that children today, I think the younger generation is very precocious. So they felt probably that, too much exposure. And then, of course, after school hours, the so called after school hours, after the virtual school hours, they would still continue to use these devices. So were they getting too much exposure? There could be unfiltered content because you had to constantly monitor. The younger children have to be constant. For that matter, even the older children have to be advised uh, they could go into a terrain where they're probably watching porn or other things. So unfiltered content, which they could be using, one had to be very careful with that. And unfiltered content, definitely, in spite of the firewalls, children seem to be so much ahead of us that they will find ways and means of getting information and even educate you on how they manage to get that in spite of the firewalls, which is amazing. So, unfiltered content. But the greatest pain point, Karima, and the greatest challenge that I now face as an educator and a head of school is, with the use of technology, what has happened is that a lot of kids are spending a lot of time in front of their laptops or on their phones, living in a make believe virtual world. Living in a make believe virtual world where they are probably hobnobbing with friends and others, but there is no real personal contact. There's a real personal contact. So consequently, what is happening now is, and it is so rampant and so obvious that you can't be in a denial mode and you can't push it under the carpet. The fact that a lot of these children are suffering from severe social anxiety. You know, talking to people on a screen is one thing, but talking to people in person is another thing. They've gotten so used to communicating with friends on WhatsApp, videos, whatever, laptops, FaceTime, that there is a lot of social anxiety. They're craving for a human connect. A lot of kids, strangely, and a lot of parents began to say, please call the kids back, okay, because they needed that human touch. uh, I mean, nobody can today undermine the value of a hug or a human touch. So that, I think, the social anxiety they set in probably was the worst that hit the children. So these are the challenges, and we are still grappling with these challenges because, and of course, there was huge learning gap because at the end of the day, I always say, I was asked this question, that do you think online teaching can replace online schools, can replace the real schools? I said, no way, because you can't wish away the real schools, particularly for children up to the age of 18. Yes, you can definitely have a lot of online courses, so on and so forth, but coming to a school and connecting with your peers and being with your teachers is a different experience altogether. Is a different experience altogether because it is teaching you a whole lot of, I'm coming back again to skills. It's teaching you a whole lot of interpersonal skills, conflict resolution skills, because unless you're with people, there will be no conflict. So conflict resolution skills. Um, so I really think adaptability. So I really think that those are the challenges that I we have faced, and I know that in the years to come, it's going to, and consequently, we've had to deploy a lot of counselors, and all our teachers have now become peripheral counselors, I call them, because we've trained them. Few counselors cannot deal with so many children. So peripheral counselors who have been trained now to deal with more and more kids who simply want to vent their feelings, right? To a real person, to a real
Right.
person. So I think these are some of the challenges that
Sure.
we faced, and I mean, foresee others also must have faced the same.
Right, right, right. Thank you, Dr. Bali. So we've seen, one set of challenges from, one perspective. I'll come to you, Miss Saloni. What are the challenges that you have witnessed and foresee in the mission to technologically empower the present and the future student base of the country?
Right. So, of course, as I said, some of the challenges, which Dr. Bali ma'am has talked about, they stay, and they will stay for any new thing that is going to come. Whether it is schools, colleges, that will always remain. As individuals, as human beings, we are all, we all behave the same way. Any new thing takes time. There's always friction. There's always a lot of resistance which is there. Good, bad, ugly is something which usually takes, is decided much later, but initially we start with that. So the biggest challenge, and as I was mentioning earlier, also what question also we have is the openness, the receptibility, the acceptability, and to acceptability, and to know that this is not going to change. We will have to change. We will have to change the way we are doing things. Again, good, bad, ugly. We have to take a call. It's going to be a lot of trial and error method also, because a lot of things are new. And while some of them may be happening in some other part of the world, some other part of the country, it is different for every audience, it is different for every country, it is different for every geography. So there is going to be a lot of changes. We will have to figure out how it works. But again, starting from the very beginning, as I said, acceptability, openness. And that is what we talk about mindset. So we start with the mindset once again. The second most important piece, I would say, is the educators. I think Dr. Bali ma'am also said, and I think Dr. Saili ma'am also said, that it is about the educators. They are the most important people. If you want to make any changes, if you want to make any progress, it starts with them. The sooner we are on the same side, I won't say I'm on their side or they are on my side, but the sooner we are all on the same side is the quicker that we will be able to make progress. So it's about capacity building. And it also ties back to what, as a country, we're talking about. I think, one of the panelists talked about the national education policy. The national education policy actually now says or recommends, as we usually refer to it, is that students can be exposed to coding from class 6 onwards. And we're seeing it in some other countries where they're going much lower. Now, we can take a call what works for us. That is totally our call. But yes, our education policy actually talks about it. And so as of now, I know that a lot of schools, they are providing access to content which is more on, AI, ML, right from class 6 onwards. They may not go into coding, which is fine, but to start understanding it. So there is a back part of it which is important, because if you want to make these changes, we start from there. Again, I know I'm repeating: mindset, acceptability, starting with the capacity building of the educators. So as part of the program, which we are implementing in quite a lot of schools all across the country, along with the Ministry of Education, we organize almost every month. We organize these sessions, which are for the school teachers, which are for them to understand what this is and start from there. So that's the most important piece, the capacity building of your educators. If they get on, as I said, if we come together on one side, we'll be able to solve this problem together. So that's the first piece. Then I think one of the panelists also was talking about multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary thing. I think that's a very valid point. Initially, when we started using computers, or when we used to talk about IT, for example, we used to talk about it as a subject that I may have taken and I will study it. Now it's no longer a subject. It's a tool that we use. Just like we use phone to call and talk, we don't think about learning phone, right? It's the same thing. So we're moving towards that side where AI or any other technology is a tool which is going to help us to take to the next step. So what is important is that the schools, the colleges, the educators, and of course the students start understanding that this is just a tool. And so for that reason, what we've also done is that we've tried to do two kinds of integration. One is integrate AI with the subjects. So your core subjects, English, science, maths, Hindi, you can actually integrate AI with it. So you don't have to be an AI teacher. You don't have to be a person who's wanting to learn AI. You understand how it works and make use of it in your own subject. So that's one kind of integration. And if anybody wants to understand more of it, currently this is available on the CBSE website. You can actually go and download the stuff from there. So that's one integration. The second integration is, we've been talking about IoT. That's another piece which is happening. Now, IoT, and I'm sure a lot of our audiences would be familiar with the tinkering, the utter tinkering, right? What we've done recently is we brought these two things together. Because the whole idea of AI is to come up with solutions. The whole idea is to solve the problem. The whole idea is that we as a country, and with the next generation, we come together to solve the problems that we see in and around us. And the only way to do is if you tell them how to do it with the technology and make use of what is available in and around them. So there's another integration that we've kind of done, which is AIoT, which is AI and IoT together. Again, it's available on the websites of the Ministry of Education website. Anybody can go and check. So we need to do a lot of different things to ensure that the changes that we are talking about, they are easy to bring in. So starting from the education policy, our government has been very, very supporting to a lot of different things, which wasn't there earlier. Adding to it a lot of different integrations which are available. And of course, the most important thing which we earlier also talked about is that if you have all these things in place, you have educators who are ready to go to the next level. You have made available relevant content for them, and you provide infrastructure to them so that they can make use of the learnings that they're doing. So I think it's a very holistic thing which needs to be put together if you want to make these changes. For example, we have a community for students. It's called AI Student Community, open and available for anyone to go. And students, they come there and they discuss among themselves what they're doing, how it is to be done, and then of course we have a lot of sessions for them. Similarly, there's need for having a community for the educators, because if they can understand what needs to be done, easier to do. So I would say, Garima, it's a holistic process that needs to be done. A lot of things have to be put in place. A lot of it is already happening. So we
Right.
have started. We just have to make sure that we go the whole length, and that's the only way to the future. Thank you.
Yes. So we are laying the fact that learning is a continuous process for both the students and the educators here. I'll come back. I'll now come to Miss Satya. Crystal gazing into the future. I'll probably this is the last question I'll put to you. What are the futuristic technological innovations that are required to strengthen the education infrastructure and provide students the much needed exposure?
Yep. Yeah, Garima. Just hearing Dr. Saili's version, where she said that we have a VR setup for our medical college. During some of my visit to some medical colleges, one of them had an interesting ask. Due to the COVID restrictions, they were saying that the students are not permitted into the OT to see the live operation. While that has been the procedure all through, and traditionally that has been the learning methodology, now they are saying they are not allowed. So the the medical college dean is asking us an option whereby he wants to live stream the operation so that the students can stay outside the OT and they can see the operation live. Now, this is a disruption in their learning methodology. It is very futuristic in the thinking. It is going to take care of the hygiene of the patient as well as the norms that the government has put in, or the best way to do things. Dell can also be part of such solutions and innovations, because we have some of the best displays which can support such solutions in integration with our ISVs and other service providers we can provide, and we have great partnership across the country and we work along with them. um, Being a infrastructure and a technology specialist in the market and leaders in that segment, some of the places where we see that we have been able to think ahead or contribute to the futuristic developments is, like ma'am said, BYOD. There are many schools expressing interest to do BYOD, and they want something very lightweight, something small. The school kids who have small hands and fingers, they should be able to comfortably carry this. So Chromebooks, that we have alignment with Google Chromebook, where again we collaborate with Intel there as well, and that is something we have seen a lot of interest among schools, where they would like to have something which is light, and that is developing digital learning as well. Um, Many of the institutions have now started doing, because the online education is coming down because offline has come into norm, and but still something they have found during the COVID time which is interesting and they want to continue is leveraging the guest lectures from different colleges, universities, even abroad. They want to leverage them, so they want to build a online guest lecturing model, and Dell infrastructure helps there with the best of the technology in the back. Obviously anything can run only if you have either you are all connected today on a desktop or a laptop which is from one of the brands, and you have a great backend system which is a server and a storage which is helping you to run this, and you are connected on an ISP's connection. So a lot of 3 4 IT vendors have come together to make this virtual connect possible today. So that way Dell is also part of this collaboration, and we contribute there, and online guest lectures happen faster with the backend systems that you're going to have in your system. LMS and digital library also taking, I would say, big time. They are becoming a priority from the earlier the libraries have been part of more of a bookish libraries. Now they are preferring more of digital libraries. I see that a lot of universities are contributing together, bringing into a collaboration model where they cross leverage their strengths, and they are actually able to use the knowledge base between different institutions. That also we see, for which we you need to have a good library setup, digital library setup in the back end that has to run on a strong storage and archival solution, which again Dell sponsors, and we support our clients there. We also see that many tech savvy institutions have started coming up with digital classrooms where they are replacing the lecturers are there. Certainly nothing happens without lecturers or the teachers, but the mode is changed to make it more interesting. The mode is changed to make it more I would say innovative in the nature that the student actually jumps in and starts learning rather than being pushed. And so we see that the digital classrooms are a new way of teaching and learning, and students are expressing a lot of interest in that. Now, be it school or the higher education institutions, the parents take a choice of where they want to put their kids based on in schools they want the child to be a lot more innovative in the way they learn, and they should be able to pursue a abroad higher education, or maybe they want to put them into different other non standard curriculums so that they can become more maybe robotics or AI. They want them to learn these things beyond the usual biology, science, and doctor and engineering. They are all moved. I myself know personally four of my next gen students who are actually or my cousins, I would say, they are doing BA history because they want to do archaeology or geology, which was never our prime focus earlier in the last generation. But now and AI has become a part and parcel of our daily life, and that has become a part and parcel of the curriculum, and that is something everybody wants to integrate in their schooling as well as in their higher education. In the higher education, the parents looks for placement of their kids post the course. That means my ward will have to get a good college. From college he has to move into a good institution for his job, and he has to have a good career. Will he get in the top 5 or top 500 companies is the ask. That means there is something that they are looking for, and that is what we are here to support. And what we do is that our AA for Youth program, as I said, is become an integrated program with the curriculum of the schools as well as the higher education, such that enabling them to prepare their wards or prepare their students for the next level. And when a student walks in for an interview with an Intel certificate, straight away he gets 3 brownie points more than another student. Obviously, we don't limit the AI course to only the engineering student or the computer science students. AI, like we see that many arts and science institutions are also expressing interest for AI for Youth program, because, as I said, AI is deployed in cars, AI is deployed in IT field, and AI was also deployed in a very very non IT oriented also, because the technology is so that it can give a lot of benefits. And so we are driving this, and we see that there's a lot of interest that is expressed in this area of developing artificial intelligence knowledge among the students, be it as a course or as a certification where they are more aligned. Like ma'am said, that post the school hours, we are worried or we have a pattern to follow and we have to take care. Some of these institutions where they are not able to integrate it in the curriculum, they keep it as off the um, main course hours, they keep it out. In any case, if you see, there is an infrastructure that is required, and we are here to sponsor that infrastructure that is needed. And that high-end infrastructure that is needed to run this program, while the program is free, you need to have an infrastructure in place, and we are here to develop, or we have developed that already. We just have to deploy them. And the good point about AI for Youth program infrastructure that we give is that it is not limited to the usage of this program. It is a lab setup between the three parties of Intel, Dell, and the respective institution. But the infrastructure is common. That means you can use this infrastructure for other lab requirements, just in case you have free time that is available in the in that lab, you can use it, but primarily it will be dedicated for this purpose. And so I would say it's a great investment. There is a ROI that is seen, and we have seen that the institutions are able to position their first themselves as a institution which is able to take the wards to the next level of their career, which is beyond just the learning process. They go beyond that. And second is the parents also look at a value point from there. And from a school point of view, there's a lot of they are more happy that my kid is going to get something beyond the regular bookish education, be it a digital classroom or a Google Chromebook or a BYOD model or a for youth program. We see that all of these are helping them. And so whatever is futuristic, we want to be part of it, and we are developing products and our infrastructure in line with the expectation of the industry. Thanks.
Right. Thanks. Thank you so much. I think we have time for just two quick questions. I'm looking at, very quick responses from our esteemed panelists here. So one of the questions that I see is, what can be the futuristic courses that institutions can offer, keeping AI and Industry 4.0 focus? This is asked by Ms. Aarti Bhatia, computer teacher from the Chintul School. So if I can have any of the panelists responding to this question, Dr. Bari, Dr. Saili, if anybody could, Dr. Bali, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. See, most schools, whether they teach the national curriculum or the international curriculum, should have IT related courses or AI related courses. For example, for us, we have courses like Digital Society. All right, it's an all-encompassing course. It's an international course, and it covers AI and all and education 4.0, so to say. There are other courses also like ITGS, that is information technology in a global society. That again is all encompassing. These are some of the courses that students take at the school level. As I said, Digital Society and ITGS. Computer science, of course, has always been around and is being taken by those who are more inclined toward math and science. But courses like Digital Society definitely equip the children, and these are dynamic courses because the boards are perpetually able to gauge the needs of the learners, and year after year they replenish these courses and offer them to the students. So likewise, I'm sure that the national curriculum also, there are courses which are being offered, which incorporate all that is related to technology or to artificial intelligence or to coding. In any case, everybody knows that coding has now been introduced from a very young age. For us, for our children and for children in the national curriculum, coding has been introduced from a very, very young age. So I would say that there are a whole lot of courses out there. All you need to do is, whatever curriculum you're opting for, speak to the school. They should be able to tell you what are the courses, futuristic courses, so to say, because definitely schools also need to, and they understand completely the fact that it's imperative that these futuristic courses are introduced at a very, very nascent level, at a very basic level, grassroots level, if I may say so, at a grassroots level, so that as children grow older, they can build on their knowledge and definitely reach a certain level of proficiency.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Bali. Another question that caught my eye is, what are the basic infrastructure requirements to equip our institutions with AI and build on AI-ready campus? So, if you can have, if Ms. Saloni or Ms. Satya would like to, either of you could answer this. Ms. Saloni, if you would like to go ahead with this.
I think, Satya, it may be good if you answer that.
Okay, so I'll just go through this question again. What are the basic infrastructure requirements to equip our institution with AI and build on AI-ready campus? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the question is from Dr. S. Kiran, and thanks for the question. So yes, as we told, if you have heard Mr. Praveen's conversation and then post that repeatedly, I've been talking about AI for Youth program. So for AI, as I said, you need a minimum of a workstation, and we can connect with you and we can share with you the configuration that best suits, because we also would like to know if there is any other courses that you run, and it is not the regular desktops. We will have to give you a workstation to run this, and what best suits, we can have a conversation. So anybody who's interested, who would like to know what is the infrastructure that will work for you, please feel free to connect with us through Elets team, and we can actually connect with you directly and then take it forward. And along with Saloni, if needed on the course, if to deploy, we can have a conversation as well.
Perfect, perfect. Great. I think, do we have Deepak, do we have the Mr. Sindhu in the background, in the wings here? Hello?
Hello, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, Sindhu. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, please. Would you like to
So
add anything to the discussions here that we've just had? Yeah.
no, Satya was very, very clear. We do have workstations is very, very important for the AI for the youth program, and we do run most of the content on workstations. But we'll also look into other options depending upon what kind of AI you want to execute. As Previn told in the presentation, we do have three domains: statistical data analysis, NLP programming, natural language programming, and computer vision. So if you want to concentrate on the advanced topics like NLP and computer vision, we would encourage to go with a workstation because of the heavy graphic requirement of image processing present in computer vision. But if you are a school and you're looking into statistical data analysis and very simple AI teaching, then we can go look into our entry level products. As of now, we have three different levels, which is present in the brochure. In the resource tab of the webinar, you can look through it, and also our salespeople will contact you for more details. You can fill up the survey form where we are asking that particular question.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. And I request our audience to, please go through the resources that I mentioned, the list, and of course, participate, give your feedback. And of course, you'll be eligible for some exciting giveaways towards the end of the discussion. Ms. Satya, you have something to add, or?
I think we are good.
Okay,
Garima.
perfect. Thank you. I think we've had a wonderful sea of thoughts, that we have just explored in this enlightening and enriching discussion. We lost Saili. I think some network issue there. But Dr. Nida Wali, thank you so much for being here this evening,
Yes, sir.
with us. Satya K, Ms. Saloni Singhal, and Sindhu, thank you so much for joining us for this enlightening discussion that we've just witnessed, towards creating a futuristic generation that we're looking at. Thank you so much for everybody joining us, and it was wonderful having you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
for the
night.
wonderful
Bye.
opportunity.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dr.
Thank
Bali
you.
and Saloni. Thank you. Thanks, Sindhu.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Garima.